Okay, so in this last video, what we're going to do is look at another version of selection. So we've got 3 different versions so far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this one here, and we'll just typical of Windows not responding. Right, edit with idle and edit. Okay, so this next one will have more than one condition. Okay, so at the minute we've done a single condition, which is for this selection. So this is our condition. If this is true, it does this. If it's not true, it does that. Okay, so we're going to do this as selection 4, save it, save as, and just put number 4 down there. So it's always important to keep all these different exercises, okay, because you may need to look at them in the later on. I'm actually going to just remove all of this and call this one menu, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a different scenario, and the scenario is that you've got a game and it has a startup menu. For the game with various options. Okay, so the first thing we will do is that we're going to say have a print statement, okay, and inside that print statement we're going to say please pick one of the following, something like that. And I want to just copy that line, save myself some time, so Control C, next line, so I go to the end, next line, press enter, and it's automatically indented. Okay, this is important. And this one I'm just going to then say option A, start game. I'll copy this one because it's going to be more similar to what I'm going to now do. And I'm going to do 3 or 4 of them. So I'll do B, C, D, and E. Okay, so we have start game, settings, something like that. Top score, or let's say, yeah, top scores. Saved games. And exit. Okay, so we're going to choose between A, B, C, D, or E. And of course, these are not going to go on to, when you pick A, B, C, D, or E, it's not actually going to go on and play any game or anything, but we can just do a print message or something like that. So what we need to do is get some user input. Now, what we could do is we could say what their option was. So we can call this variable, we can give it an identifier name, we could call it option. You could call it user input, right, because that's what it is, it's user input. You could call it choice. You could call it response. You could call it loads of things. So I'm actually just going to call it option, okay? But it is important that you give it a relative name to what it is. So in here we're going to say input, and then in the input we'll just say pick a, or let's say not pick, we'll be more specific, type A, B, C, D, or E, and we'll do that. Right, so just leave a space after it. Okay, so we'll just save this. So it's exercise 4. We'll run it. So we can run it. It'll say that we have to save. And it's going to come up here then. And of course, I called it menu, so it's not going to run automatically. So we'll do run menu, and it's coming up. Please pick one of the following: A, B, C, D, or E. And then it says type A, B, C, D, or E. If I type A, okay, it's done that, right? So it's just ended. Of course, my program just ends. Now, for the purpose of this, what we'll do, we'll get the menu to automatically run. So that means underneath, down here, we'll put a comment and say call menu, and we'll write menu open and close brackets, so it just happens automatically. Now, here we're now wanting to check what the option is, okay? So we will say, we'll put some comments, and it's important to put all these comments. We'll say options, menu options, something like that. And here we're just going to put, now this would usually be character, you would call this like char, okay? Because we're wanting to put one, just have one letter. But in Python, this is a string, okay? But we're going to say that we just want one character here, and it is literally one character, A, B, C, D, or E. And in some programming languages, you would have it where you could have like text as being the string and just one character being char, okay, as in character. Now, to check this option, we have to do our selection again. This is the main purpose of this. So we're going to say if, and I'm going to copy that, Control C option, paste it, Control V, if option, and we cannot do anything like these, right? We can't do these because we're checking a string here. So we can't say if option is greater than or equal to, but we can say if it's equal to. If it's equal to something. Now, we'll put that in quotes, equal to, if option is equal to something here. Now, what are we going to put in? Are we going to put a capital A or lowercase a? Now, the problem is, on a computer, a capital A and a lowercase a are actually something different. So it depends what the user puts in. So we're going to do capital A for the moment, but we may have to do something else to sort that out. Now, you could do something like this. You could say or option is equal to lowercase a, right? You could do that. So you can see we've got comparison operator, and this is a logical operator. This is a different kind of operator, okay? And then we got another comparison operator. So we're saying if option is equal to uppercase A or option is equal to lowercase a. So we're taking both into account. But actually, I'm just going to leave it like that. And we're going to do something over here. We're going to change option to be uppercase. So I'm going to say Control V, option is equal to itself dot upper. Now, oops, I've done that in capitals, dot upper, like this. Okay, now this seems a bit weird that I've done this, but option, if you imagine whatever the user inputs, if they input A and they input a lowercase a, what it's going to do here, it's going to just change it to be uppercase. Okay, so we'll just put a comment. Changes character to uppercase. Now, there's lots of different ones. You could have done it the other way around. You could have said lower, and that would do lowercase as well, right? So upper. So this is called a method dot notation, and this is affecting this variable. And it's a bit weird that we're saying option is equal to itself, but in uppercase. And it's kind of like this option is this option up here, and we're putting it into option, so we're overwriting option. Something that you'll need to get used to being able to do is this kind of thing. So we're option is equal to option dot upper. Okay, so that means that option here is going to be an uppercase, right? So if uppercase option is equal to uppercase a, then we will say, we'll just do a print message, and we'll say something like start game, or let's say game loading, right? As an example. Right, but what if they haven't picked A? What if they've picked B? Okay, so we'll go back to the same indentation as our if, right? So not here. So what I did is just a backspace to go back like that, because from the previous line up here, it automatically gives me the opportunity to do more lines of code. But you got to be careful with this. Indentation is important that you do it correctly. So now we're going to add this elif, and this is different from the else that we had before, elif, and we're going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to copy that, and we're going to say elif option is equal to, and change it to b, right? And in this case, I'll do another print message inside there. I'm just going to say settings loading. Right, so this is a game that's going to be quite slow, that it has to load everything. Okay, so at this point, I can actually copy this line of code here, this elif. Now, notice that I'm selecting it from the right all the way to the left bar side here. And I'm going to do Control C. And then what I'm going to do is go down and then over to the left side here and then do Control V. And I'm going to do it a few times. So that's for C. That's for D. And then the last one for E, I probably won't need to do, but we will do anyway, right? E. So I've copied them. So I'm going to now change this, of course, to C. This one to D. This one to E. And instead of setting loading top scores, loading saved games. Alright, so I'll just put a capital there, saved games, loading. And E is exit. So actually there is, instead of printing this, there is a different message thing we can do. We can actually say exit. And this is a built-in function that will actually close the program. Either exit, or you can actually do quit as well. They kind of do the same thing. So these are built-in functions that do this. Okay. So exit. And then what happens if they didn't pick A, B, C, D, or E? We'll just do an else then. Okay, so this is the normal, this is what you would normally do. Just gonna make this big, right? So this is what you would normally do here. You would have an else then. So what happens if there is an else? Well, maybe we wanted to go back around and do the menu again. Okay, so we'll print just a message and just say something like an error like this. Option not picked. Right. We'll then print another message. I'll say, please try again. And then we will just call the menu, right? So the same way we did it here, we're going to do it inside our procedure, right? Within this if selection. So we'll just say menu, open and close brackets, and then I'm going to do space, space, quote, comment, and I'm going to say call menu. So if somebody has not picked A, B, C, D, or E, it's going to then print out this message and then run it again. Okay, so let's check it out. So run module. Okay, so please click one of the following. We'll check what happens if I put something like S and enter. Okay, error option not picked. Please try again. Okay, now at the minute you can notice that, of course, this is all scrunched up together. So you may want to do what we did before, where we had \n in between these. So I'm going to just do one in front of this one. and that is backslash, quotes, always with the quotes, backslash n, and then I can just copy it, Control C, and I'll just put it after but before this menu, like that. Okay, run it. Let's see what happens. Oh, well, I'll actually run a fresh one, so I'll close that and run again, run the module. Okay, so if I put G this time, okay, so it's spaced out, and it's now asking me, so it's got to put backslash n before, after, and ask me again. Right, now the next one would be if I do pick A. So if I pick A and I'm putting a lowercase a, it says game loading, and the program obviously ends at that point. Okay, obviously this will work then if you pick B, C, D, or E. Well, we can actually try it again by just running and seeing what happens if we pick E for exit. So I can put a lowercase e, or I can put an uppercase E and enter. And it's coming up saying, well, it says kill. We're not going to kill anything, but we're going to stop the program. So your program is still running. Do you want to kill it in terms of close it, stop it, running? Okay, right. So that's what that exit bit did there. So essentially, this is an if, elif, else. So this is where we've got several conditions, as you can see. Okay, all of these different conditions. And that's important that you know that you can, depending on what you need to do, you just maybe do an if, maybe do an if or an else, or if you have several conditions as we do here, that they have to pick A, B, C, D, or E, then you have if, elif, and so on. Okay, last thing that you should probably do is just put some comments. So comment here would say, takes user input, and changes it in and makes it, let's say, makes it uppercase. Then here we would say, I'm going to write selection. Okay, so selection to check user input. Okay, so there we have our example of selection.